right, we've now been joined by our race winner in today's Verizon 200 at the Brickyard here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. And that winner is Michael McDowell, driver of the number 34 Horizon Hobby Ford for Front Row Motorsports. Congratulations, Michael, on that win. Indy is a little bit of an extended celebration. So tell us a little bit about experiencing that with your family.
Oh, man, what a special day. Yeah, it's unbelievable, honestly. I mean, to win the Daytona 500, there's not a lot of things that can top that. But this is a close second, and to have my family here with me, it's very special. Obviously they couldn't be there at Daytona, and that was tough. But at the same time, we've been building and building at Front Row Motorsports, and felt like we would have another opportunity to win a race. And I'm not going to lie, we cherry pick as a family which races we go to. We go to the ones that we think we can win, and we talk about it. We do. We talk about it as a family of like, all right, we're all going to be there. This is the weekend, And if it didn't happen this weekend, we'd go to Watkins Glen and say, all right, guys, this is the weekend. And so to have it all come together, it's super special.
All right, we're now going to go to questions from the media. If you have a question, raise your hand. I'll work to get a mic to you. And we're going to start with Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com first. First, Michael, you did in fact prove Denny Hamlin wrong, as you said you would on Twitter.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I don't get on there a lot. And I typically don't let things bother me much. And it's not that it bothered me. But what he put out there was just inaccurate. Chase Elliott is the best road racer in the Cup Series. We know that right now. He has the most wins. So you can't statistically say that he's not the best. He is the best, right? And it was not a dig at Chase. All I was doing is looking at the stats. He's not going to gain 40 points on us on the road courses. Now, he could win. I would have agreed with him on that. He could win for sure, which obviously he was close today. But I felt like if we just go out there and do what we do on the road courses, we're going to run fifth in each stage. We're going to finish fifth in the race, and he's maybe going to gain 5, 7, 8 points, right? There's no way he's going to make up 40 to us on the road courses. So that's all I was saying, but you know how it happens, right? It's not how it comes off, But yeah, it was more in fun, right, with him. And I talked to him walking into the driver's meeting today. And I was like, man, I was so mad when Chase Elliott out-qualified me yesterday, just because I was going to send a tweet out to him if I outran Chase, in qualifying. But then he got me that last lap and qualified third, and we qualified fourth. And I'm like, well, I better not say anything because he did beat me. But, yeah, I wasn't thinking about that on the racetrack today, but I'm glad that you brought it up. Maybe he should have me on actions detrimental tomorrow, and we can talk about it.
The second thing I wanted to ask is, you qualified for the playoffs in 2021 with a win at Daytona. With how well this team has run this year and being in the playoff picture already coming into this weekend, does this victory to clinch a playoff spot feel maybe even better or more impressive to you of doing it this way than compared to 2021?
100%, yes. And pointing our way in would be, and we'll still look at it that way, as if we end up being able, we're in, right? But we're going to look at the points, because pointing our way in was something that we took a lot of pride in if we could do that as a team, because it shows how consistent you are and it shows your performance, right? But it's no secret that this year is unique because you've had drivers that haven't run all the races. And so we're not sitting here saying, oh, man, look at us. We're saying this is our shot because of those circumstances, because some of the top guys haven't won yet and some of those guys missed races. It's opened up the window for us to have a shot. Now, doing what we did today, I feel like is what we needed to do, because I felt like no matter what, there's going to be somebody that wins from behind there, and I'm glad that somebody was us. We were below the cut line, and we won, and now we're that person. And so, yeah, it's. I haven't let the playoffs set in yet, because winning here has been so cool. I think tomorrow or Tuesday, when we think about Watkins Glen and we think about how we don't have to just crush every element, that we could just go there and go for the win and have fun, which I think we can do, is it's going to be a big relief. But right now, I'm not feeling that. I haven't got to the playoffs yet. I'm just enjoying today so far.
All right, our next question will go to Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Daytona was a speedway race. We know how those are characterized. But to come here on a road course to do this, to beat them the way you beat them today, what does that say as a statement?
I think that it just shows how strong our team is, right? It's one thing, if you're restarting sixth here on a green-white checker, you fire it in there and you steal a win, right? And that's not what we did today. And what we did today is we had the fastest car and we won. And I think it says a lot for our race team and what we have been able to do and what we've been able to build on. And, this next-gen car has really helped us on the road courses. And last year we were close. We weren't a race-winning car, but I felt like we were a top 3 to 5 car. And we've just built on that and built on that and built on that. And, at Sonoma, I think we had a shot at it before we hung that lug on that last pit stop. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people talking about it, but we were the only one that could run with Martin and felt like, hey, we're pretty close. If we execute and do everything right and hit it right, maybe we can actually go and contend. But yesterday was just different. When I unloaded yesterday, I felt like, yeah, we're going to be contenders. And if you just look at practice, we were the fastest in practice, fastest 5-lap, fastest 10-lap, fastest average. And I woke up this morning nervous. I really did. I don't normally wake up nervous. I was anxious, feeling like I think I have a race-winning car here, and I just got to go do my job and not look like an idiot. And thankful we were able to do it.
And then the narrative for this is going to be, this is like a Cinderella victory, right? In your estimation, is this a Cinderella win?
Absolutely not. I think we've been the fastest road course car since this next-gen car over average of it. And I think statistically it'll show that, right? I think if you just look at the average finish and you look at average running position, we've been a top 5 car every single road course race since this next-gen car's come in. So is it a Cinderella story from a lot of different aspects? Maybe, but off of pure performance, I feel like we've been nailing it and having a shot at it. But I also look at it as we're going up against some really big teams with a lot of resources, and to do what we did today is pretty awesome.
And then what's the last few weeks been like for you?
Sorry, what'd you say?
No, what's the last few weeks been like for you?
Stressful. Yeah, stressful for sure. The last 2 weeks haven't gone well, right? So Richmond, and we had a good car, and we went for it on strategy, and it backfired, which hasn't happened. Travis has done a great job with strategy, and we have stolen top 10 finishes more than once this year by his great strategy calling. I would say it if he was in the room. Richmond was not his best day on strategy calling. We took a 10th place car and ran 20 with it. That's not what we needed to do as far as playoff points go, right? And then at Michigan had damage early, and we just gave up so many points. So the last 2 weeks have been stressful. But even leaving Michigan, because a lot of those guys had bad days, when we were only down 3, I thought, well, this is still great because we got 3 great tracks coming up that I feel like we'll be able to outpoint the guys that we're racing. But then when Daniel put it on pole yesterday, I was like, oh, man, and Ty was fast in practice, and that's what I anticipated. I anticipated it was going to be a dogfight between all of us if we had to do it via points. And so I'm glad that we don't, and this definitely relieves some pressure going into the next couple weeks.
All right, we're going to microphone to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Michael, Travis talked about when you guys had a meeting to determine if, when you had your interview with him. And he said that, one of the things he mentioned was that, I guess you referenced, hey, I'm going to be talking to other people. He said he remembered he thought there was an older crew chief, a more experienced crew chief. And his comment was, in essence, why wouldn't you take a chance on a guy without the experience.
Yeah.
He said that line, or if I'm phrasing it right, resonated with you and kind of made an impact. Do you remember that, and how so and why?
Yeah, so I have a lot of freedom and flexibility at Front Row Motorsports, obviously, and so when I met with Travis and I met him for lunch, I had a pretty short list of guys that I felt like could do the job, and it's not just do the job. It's a different fit at Front Row Motorsports. You have to be able to do more than one thing. There's a lot of crew chiefs in the Cup Series that are really good car guys, and there's a lot of crew chiefs in the series that are really good engineers. We have to have both. We can't have just one because we don't have enough people. We don't have enough depth to just be laser focused on one area or another. And so when I lost my lead engineer to Penske, I knew we had to have an engineer-minded crew chief because we just didn't have two people to fill the spot. So when I met with him, after coming off of Blake, who was a car guy, very little engineering experience, I'm like, oh, this is the opposite of what I just had and had success, but this is what I need. And all I was doing is just see if he had the fire. Because if you don't have fire, you'll never make it at Front Row Motorsports. You just won't. You have to be a fighter because it's hard. You got to do a lot more stuff than most of the people around you have to do. And you got to put in more hours, and you got to be willing to do more with less. And so I was just seeing if I could piss him off a little bit. And he was fiery, and that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that was fiery. And I met with 5 or 6 guys, and I left that lunch like, this is my guy. If I can get him, this is my guy. I just felt it in my gut, felt it in my heart. And I think that for us, our dynamic is really good. We work really closely together. He challenges me and I challenge him. Neither one of us are offended, which is a big part of it because I can be fairly offensive. Y'all don't get to see that side of it, but behind closed doors in meetings, I am fiery. And I think that that's what it takes to take it to the next level, and he has that. And so that's cool. It's been a good combination.
And you referenced with the Daytona win, certainly because of COVID protocols, things were different in Victory Lane. Family wasn't there. So what was Victory Lane like with family? What was Victory Lane like with people and your crew guys and that experience? I'm almost wondering if it was like a whole new experience.
It was,
for you.
yeah. Yeah, it was a whole new experience. And, you know, Daytona, it's still awesome. And I think you and I talked about this, Dustin. I didn't want anybody to feel like, oh, poor me, like he didn't have his family and he just won the biggest race. So I didn't want that to be the story. But what people don't understand is, like, we have traveled to Daytona every single year for 16 years. That's the first one they've missed, right? And so for the first one that they missed, be the one that I win, it was like, oh. But we didn't fixate on it. We were just like, I told my kids, there's going to be another one. There's going to be another one. And winning in the Cup Series so hard, you just never know. So it was definitely special today. I mean, this is special. Indianapolis is special. And even the kissing the bricks, and I got a ring, right? You only get rings for certain races. I got the 2 best rings you can get. Like, all that stuff is just so neat. It's just humbling, and I'm thankful and grateful. And, yeah, it's a dream come true. It really is. And I think today was more special for me than the 500. And not that it was bigger than the 500. I don't want anybody to write that. It's not bigger than the 500. The 500 is the biggest race you can win. But it was more special to me because of how we did it. We dominated the race. We had the fastest car, and we executed. That's what dreams are made of. And to do it like we did it today, I think is super special. And I'm sorry that it was a boring race for the fans.
All right, we have a question up front.
Blake Smith, ESPN Radio, Owensboro. Michael, you talked about boring race for the fans. On that, maybe not on that so much, but 77 laps of green flag racing today. Do you expect that going into the race, and how did you have to change your strategy to do so?
We did expect it. We were hopeful for it. We really were, because we knew we had a good long-run car. And without having the stage breaks, there's the potential for that. We saw it at Sonoma too, right? Minus a late race caution, but that thing was going to go green the whole time too. And so it's like capitalizing on the opportunities. We knew this year that no stages was going to create opportunities for us, because we've always had to be in a must-win situation. And so we've never taken stage points at the road courses. We've always pitted with 2 laps to go, because we need the track position. We need to put ourselves in position to win. And so we were always racing track position with the stage breaks. And so we knew this year, out of all the years, that if we just had a fast car execute, we're going to run so much better than we would with the stage breaks. Because even today is a perfect example of, you can build a lead, and when you pit, you're not going to lose 5 spots if you have a hiccup. You're going to lose 1 because you built a 3 or 4 second lead over the car behind you, right? So we knew that there was a lot of opportunities without stage breaks. And then with this running as green as it did today, it played into our wheelhouse for sure. But I was thinking about it, those last 15 laps. You know, I wanted them just to give me the gap every lap, because I was trying to manage tires. I didn't want to be pushing so hard that, 1, I make a mistake, or 2, that I used it up too much, and then we have a late race caution, and then Chase Elliott gives me the business. And I didn't know how much he was saving behind me. I didn't know how hard he was pushing. And so, yeah, it was for me, it was just trying to be a little bit strategic of not pushing too hard, but not letting him get close enough.
And you are the road course winner at Indianapolis, and the buzz in the garage area this weekend is next year going back to the Oval.
Lame.
There's the answer. What are your thoughts on that?
So you know me, I'm biased, right? I want to run on as many road courses as we can, and but I do understand the prestigiousness of running the Brickyard and being on the Oval. And I do think that this next-gen car is going to put on a good race. It's going to put on a better race than our previous generation car here. So I understand the wanting to go back to the Oval. All I'm asking is, can we do both? Can we run the Oval and the road course? Is that a possibility? But, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
They don't ask me, just so you know. Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to Bruce and then Matt.
Back in 2004, you won the USF 2000 championship, and you're even in the USF 2000 Hall of Fame as a road racer. How much of your early road racing skill really helped you get to today?
I think it helped a lot. But what's hard about it, and I was thinking about it when SVG came in and waxed us, is it's been 16, 17 years since I've run road course cars full time. And so even though I have that experience, it's a long time ago. And I've raced a lot of ovals and created a lot of bad habits doing that, right? And I don't mean bad habits, but you understand what I'm saying for road course racing, different habits. And so I think that it helps. And I think that this next-gen car probably was what I needed to be able to kind of show what I could do. And it's not just because it leveled the playing field. That's part of it. The other part of it is it's very similar to what I raced before going into the Cup Series with the Daytona prototype. As far as the floor on the car, the downforce, the sequential shift, all those things. So I've been really comfortable in this car since it's, unloaded. Not just on the road courses either, on the ovals as well. So it's played into my wheelhouse, but I don't think it's a huge advantage anymore because I'm not doing much of it. Now, if I was running 5 or 10 races a year in other forms of road racing, then I think it would be helpful. But I'm an oval guy that has road course experience because it's so long ago, So, yeah.
And also, obviously, family's very important to you. You have a big family. You've given a home to some members of your family. And if you could just talk about that as being the foundation of your character.
Well, just so you know, my plan was to never have 5 kids. Okay, that's crazy. It's a lot of kids. I don't know if anybody's got a lot of kids, but 5 is a lot. But the Lord had different plans. And so when we had our son, I was like, this is perfect. One kid, we can manage this on the road and still travel. And I was driving the bus and all that. And then we just felt called to adopt. And we started that process, and it took a long, long time and a lot of roadblocks and a lot of different things happened over those. I mean, it took 7 years for the adoption to go through. And in those 7 years, my wife was like, I think we should have more kids. And I was like, no, that's a bad idea. We're struggling and barely making it. And I'm starting parking and driving my motor home and not doing anything well. And, but, you know, looking back now, this is the greatest thing we've ever done. I mean, we have a big family, and we have great, healthy kids, and it's kind of who we are, right? Like, when we get on the plane and we take half the plane, people look at us like we're crazy, and I know that. I know we're crazy. We are. You should see all the stuff we have to bring. But it's who we are. We travel as a family. We stay together as a family. This sport is tough on families, and you guys know that. You guys live it, right? I mean, you're here every weekend, and you're away from your family. You don't have them come and travel. And so being that I can, we just made it a priority.
And by celebrating with your family, I mean, how do you celebrate? Are they all going out to Dairy Queen tonight, and you're going to run up a big bill at Dairy Queen, or just how do you do that as a family?
Well, depending on how long this goes, they're going to make me stop at Cookout on the way home because that's what my kids always want. Cookout's open late. Now, this is not a Cookout plug because I don't get any endorsement deal from them, but it's where my kids want to go when we get home. So hopefully it's still open, and that's probably where they'll want to stop, and they usually get milkshakes there. And it's going to be late, and they're going to be wound up. And then they got school tomorrow, which is not going to be fun. This is going to be a tough little grind. So I'm thinking about the victory right now and not thinking about what 7 a.m. is going to be like, getting home late and getting everybody's backpack and lunch ready to go. But we're going to make it happen.
All right, we're going to go Matt, and then Lee, and then we'll finish up over here.
Matt Weaver, Sports Not. When you told your family there will be another one, how much conviction was there? Because as you've mentioned, you know, these are tough and hard to come by. Like, did you really believe there'd be more to come?
So y'all are going to think I'm crazy, which I am, and I know that I'm borderline crazy, but I believed in all my heart that there's going to be way more. I always have. I know it sounds crazy. Even when I was starting parking, I'm like, there's going to be a day I'm going to win races and win championships. I know it. I feel it. And my mindset hasn't changed from that. It's just been a rough road, and it's been tough. I mean, it just is. But I won't allow myself to think anything else because why would I be here? Like, it's just when you've dedicated your entire life to something, to suck at it is not an option. And it's just taken me more years than I've wanted to not suck at it.
And then to that point, what is the ceiling? Because when you re-upped with this team, a lot of people were disappointed for you only because they wanted to see you be at a mega team, right? Can you build this into a mega team in the tenure that you're here?
That's a loaded question. It's tough, right? It's tough to answer because we have limitations, right? And some of those limitations I can't control. I can't. But at the same time, all it's going to take is a little bit more support and a little bit more funding, and I think we can. Are we there today? No, we're not there today. We have the building blocks to do it. We have the foundation to do it. We just need a few more things to do it. And, you know, without getting into the nuts and bolts of everything, my owner, Bob Jenkins, still spends a lot of his own money to do this. And he loves it. He's excited. He's over the moon today. I mean, this is a great day for him. But until we have more support, it's going to be hard to make it a championship contending team week in, week out. But I think we have the building blocks to go in that direction. And when you look at like Trackhouse, it gives me a lot of confidence that it can be done. You just got to put the pieces together and have it there to do it. So I think we're close. I think we just need a little bit more in every area, and we could put that together. Yep.
Lee Spencer, Catch Fence. You had been on the bubble for so long, and then last week at Michigan, I'm just wondering, what went through your mind, because you just you had an absolutely miserable day. I
Miserable day.
and it was so tough to watch from the press box, because you're trying to fight and claw, but it was beyond your control.
Yeah. So Michigan was tough because we had a really fast car in practice. And that's one of the places I feel like separates the big teams and small teams. And in practice, I was like, hey, we got a top 10 car. That's hard to do at Michigan. And then we got that nose damage. And, whatever happened, how it bent the front bumper, there was no support there. So every time we'd fix it and get it to pop out, as soon as you get up to top speed, the whole thing would cave back in. And it was like I had a parachute. And there was just nothing that we could do. We tried fixing it 6 or 7 times. We did everything that we could possibly do without going behind the wall, which wasn't an option. And so, it was just super tough. But I felt thankful leaving there with as bad of a day as we had to only be -3. I felt, well, we still got a fighting chance. But, it was tough. But it made us just feel more double down for this weekend of like, we have to go and run like we should run. And we got to score a lot of points. And that first stage, like my mind was about getting the lead and never giving it back the rest of the day. Like that's just what I was planning on doing. And I had a car that could actually do it, which was awesome.
You've been here since the chase began, and this format of it. And when you look from 12 to 20, the competition is just out of this world. I mean, it didn't used to be like that. You would know who the top 16 were going to be, and there might be some wild card guy. It's not like that anymore. So how badly did you know that you had to win to secure a spot?
So I didn't feel like coming into this weekend that it was a must-win. I didn't feel like that. But after seeing how fast my car was yesterday, in my mind it was a must-win. Not because of the playoffs, but just because you don't get opportunities like that in the Cup Series that often. And somebody might hit on something next week and be dominant, and we could be flogging it, tongue hanging out, and running 5th, right? And it's just what we have. But today we had a race-winning car. And so I wasn't so much thinking about the must-win of the playoffs. I was thinking of the must-win of, like, you might not ever get another chance like this where your car is that good. You better make it count. And like I said, I felt that this morning. I felt that that pressure and that angst. And then the race started, and that angst went down, and I just got laser focused on what I had to do and felt like I had all the things to do it.
All right, Michael, we're going to have to
Yeah,
wrap
sorry it
this
took
up
so
here.
long.
We know you have some more interviews you have to do, and we also know you have to head home as well. So congratulations on this
Thank
win,
you.
and best of luck with that morning routine tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys.